Good evening, fans. It's week 5 of the high school football season here on Fred TV, and we're back at Durfee for the second of a 3-game homestand to wrap up the regular season. Tonight, the Barnstable Red Raiders come to Fall River. Evan Massoud with you for the call, along with 2007 grad, former player, former coach, B.J. McDonald. Great to have you, B.
Thanks, Ev. You're making me sound old. Former player, former coach. It's only 10 years ago we graduated.
Time flies, I'll tell you. It's amazing. Time flies. It seems like just yesterday we're up in New Bedford watching you guys, and Timmy Powers, who's a coach here, still in the muddy New Bedford field taking the win on Thanksgiving. That was quite a game.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Coach Brown, Taylor Brown was on the staff, Coach Renowski. You know, that's why I like to stay involved. I love all these guys, and I think they're doing a great job.
All right, so Barnstable coming in at 2-2. They grabbed their second victory of the year last week at New Bedford, and it was a 3-0 game. No, that's not a baseball score, just a 3-0 game. Durfee, a hard luck loss last week, a game that they had in the bag. They lost by 1 against Dartmouth, so they're 0-4. A game that they led most of the week. Player of the game last week, we were just talking about it, Eli Concepcion. He had the bulk of the carries, and that's an understatement. 27 carries for 220 yards and a touchdown. He was outstanding, so look for him tonight for sure. Now, Hilltoppers won the toss. They have elected to defer, so they'll go on defense to start things off.
Kind of the story of the year, I guess, for Durfee and New Bedford. Both teams struggling offensively to get things going. And Durfee last week, I mean, Dartmouth only ran 6 plays in the second half and still somehow find a way to win.
You know, you're absolutely right. I mean, we look back at that fourth quarter, and I thought that the Hilltoppers had it in the bag, especially. I mean, they took off nearly 9 minutes of the 11-minute clock. They scored. They went up by 8 points, or 7 points, rather. And Dartmouth on that return.
It's one of those ones that will stick with you for a long time.
I know. And you know what? I look at it as even more motivation, because I'm sure the players are not just discouraged. I'm sure they're a little angry, too, that it slipped through their fingertips. So it was barely an onside kick. That's a loose ball. And the Hilltoppers have it. According to the sidelines, they do. They went for the onside, and it was touched by one of the Barnstable players. And then a slew of Hilltoppers came over to grab the ball after it was touched. So
I'm
that's
sure
a
that
good
was
start.
a point of emphasis this week in practice. Special teams, after the kickoff return for a touchdown last week, start the game with an onside kick, grab the momentum. Great start.
All right, we're going to see Najir Montero, the QB again. Regular starter Alvin Ditt, he is still out on injury, as well as Jan Rosa, number 2. He's a captain and a wide receiver for the Hilltoppers, 1 of 4 captains, so he's still out on injury. And Montero calling for it. He's going to drop back to pass, and he's going to escape a tackle there by a big number 77, and it's a good pass on first down for about 25 yards. He escaped.
He dropped it.
Oh, they say an incomplete pass. Man, he had it in his hands. Captain number 77, Joe Yalmakis, was coming in on Montero, and he skipped around him to get the pass off. That's a tough way to start. That should have been 25 yards.
Yeah, that kid came in unblocked there on the left side or the right side, but the quarterback made a nice play. Niger got outside, and good throw, just hit him in a bad place, as they say sometimes, right?
Yeah, got to come down with those. We saw last night. Edelman had the whole field. Brady targeted him. I think it was maybe the second target, and he couldn't come down with it, so it happens to the best of them.
Sometimes when you're too wide open, you think about it too much.
Well, similar formation. Looks like they may be going for another pass here on second down, and the defense coming, and this time Yalmakis does get the sack, and it's going to be a loss of about 8 and a little extra after the play.
Got to get a block on 77. That's both plays. He coming off the edge there on the right side. Seemingly untouched.
So going to bring up third and about, we'll say, 18 for the Hilltoppers. They get backed up after the loss and the sack from Yalmakis. Interesting that both sides basically lined up exactly the same defensively and offensively. It was almost a carbon copy of the first play.
Yeah, both plays looks like now third down, too. Durfee in the double slot, 4 wide receivers, 1 back.
Look out again. The corner's coming right in, and that is going to be over the head and incomplete. Well, we'll tell you one thing. The O-line needs to step up a little bit, definitely oversized, but after that first drive, one that really should have had a first down, Hilltoppers 3 and out.
Well, I think on that one, too, it was 3rd and long. They knew the pressure was coming. It looked like they were trying to set up a screen, but Montero just threw it over his head a little too high.
So 4th down, Durfee going to have to punt it away.
I think freshman Jay Hall is the normal punter, and it looks like number 6 is back there today, Jaden Lewis, also a freshman.
That's going to bounce at the 30 and roll towards the sidelines. And I believe it actually goes out of play, and there is a... I'm not sure if that was a flag or just the marker to show where it was downed, but something came flying in there from the side as well. So Barnstable will have it right about their own 30, actually the 29. So they'll start from their own 29-yard line. That was a pretty decent punt for the Hilltoppers. You mentioned freshman Jaden Lewis. I mean, really, and I talked about this even on week 1. The youth movement is on here at Durfee. A lot of underclassmen on this varsity roster.
You got to give those kids credit for coming out every week and battling as freshmen and sticking with it. You know, it's tough losing every week and still showing up every day to practice, coming out and playing on Friday nights. It's a lot easier to quit than it is to come out and keep playing.
Pass complete on the far side, and that should be good for a first down.
Number 16, Matt Peterkuski's pass is complete. Number 23.
And you hope they stick with it for all 4 years, you know, even though this year has been a little bit of a disappointment to start with a couple of losses right off the bat and, you know, the heartbreaking loss last week. You got 4 years of this, and then it's over. So hopefully those kids stick with it, you know, in the off season, finish this season strong, and, you know, put in a solid 4 years because there's no substitute for the experience that you get playing at this level. It's a whole different ballgame than playing on the freshman team.
Oh, that's for sure. And now they're going to back up here. There was a penalty, actually, so that play will be negated. Going to be first and about 15, maybe 16. I'm correcting something on the roster here. I've got a couple names for Barnstable missing. So that catch before it was negated was for Brian Frya, and it looks like they went back to the same spot. Don't think it was him, though.
That's a big-time throw from the quarterback there. It's Matt, who's that, Matt Petruski? I mean, that's throwing an out route 15 yards down the field to the far side on the wide side of the field. That's a big-time throw.
And now it's complete to number 2, Luke Locascio. Locascio, I should say.
Need a sports information director over here, Ev, to help you out.
Well,
penciling in the roster.
I know, seriously. Well, we had to, I was telling you beforehand, we had to go on Max Preps because we didn't get anything from the school. So we wanted to at least have something, you know. I'm not sure if some of the staff at Barnstable had the day off today, but someone's slipping down on the Cape. That's a first down on a 3rd down conversion for the Red Raiders, so they'll move the chains as they near midfield. Yeah, so the QB, Matt Peterkuski, he is a captain. There's 3 captains for the Red Raiders. Matt Fredo, number 11, and 77, who had the sack on Montero as well. That's Joe Yalmakas. So 3 captains for the Red Raiders. For the Hilltoppers, 4. We mentioned Jan Rosa, who's out. Lucas Roque, number 3. Jude Thomas, number 67, and Zach Cardelli, number 67.
We mentioned earlier the freshmen putting in all 4 years, and when Taylor took over the program, that was the year I coached the freshman team, and I had all those guys that are now the senior captains when they were freshmen, and it's good to see them out here 4 years later, sticking with it, playing hard, and they're all great kids.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to buy in. I mean, you know, I never played sports. I always enjoyed sports, but, you know, I enjoyed being behind the scenes doing this, and it's got to be tough. I mean, the Hilltoppers, record-wise, the regular season isn't usually too kind to the Hilltoppers, but the kids, they show up, they work hard at practice. Coach Powers told me down on the field before when we were getting some of the starters that practice were pretty good this week. So Wednesday was probably their best practice of the week, he said.
Yeah, that's great, and that's good to hear. You know, every week is a new week. There's a new team. There's a new opponent every week. You forget about last week and go to battle. So hopefully they can get a stop here. Look, Barnstable's kind of marching down the field.
Yeah, and they're going no huddle as well, just kind of going with it. 2nd and 7, play will be halted.
I think he moved. Oh, Durfee
Durfee got a timeout. They got that in just in the nick of time. And
kind of got lucky, though, that they called the timeout, I think, for Barnstable. It looked like the guy in the slot might have moved before they snapped the ball.
Just a 30-second timeout. Not sure if Coach Brown saw something he didn't like, but
well, I think that was the first time Barnstable showed trips to this side of the field, and it looked like Coach Brown was trying to adjust his coverage over there.
Now we're going to go one-on-one on this near side. I'm going to hand it off. And he'll power up the middle there. Short of the line to gain, but probably about 4 or 5 yards on the carry. It'll be 3rd and short.
Probably 4 down territory here for Barnstable again. No huddle.
And they're moving the ball effectively.
Yeah.
I think he was stopped. Going to be about a yard short on 3rd down.
That's a big play on 3rd down. Need one more now here on 4th down.
Have to get to the 35. They got to the 34 before the defensive line stopped him in his tracks. It appeared that was Brian Frya, number 23, carrying the ball. They also have number 16 in there. That's the QB, of course, ready to hand it off.
Durfee just made a substitution, too, on defense. It looked like 78, Richie Vancott checking in for 75, Jesse Werner. He moved.
He did. We saw one of the Hilltoppers on the line flinch, and that's because there was a false start. So that's big, too. Going to back him up, and now some personnel changes for the Red Raiders.
Looks like rather than trying to power it through for a yard, they might open it back up, spread it out again.
Joe Tillman listed as a running back, number 1. He just came out, as well as Jadaro France. He's a wide receiver, number 6. Tillman on the near side here, closest to us. Dropping back to pass, pressure coming and scooting through the middle.
No.
And he's just going to get there on 4th down.
It's going to be close. They might.
I think the ball broke the plane before the knee hit the ground, and that's what they're spotting it. That's a tough one. Hilltoppers had pressure on the QB, and he skipped away.
Good coverage downfield, pressure, but tough play.
New set of downs, 1st and 10 from the Hilltopper 34. Going deep to the end zone, and he overthrew him by maybe half a stride. Matt Peterkuski had him in his sights, but just a little bit down the field.
Yeah, Petrusky had a lot of time on that one to look down the field, give his receivers time to get open. It looked like he had a step on the defensive back, but just missed him.
I'll tell you, the kid's got an arm, too.
Yeah, big, strong kid. Absolutely.
So 2nd and 10.
Looks like a wishbone look.
Yeah, definitely not something we see usually. And, boy, firing left and right is Peterkuski. That time he was looking for number 4, Matthew Turner. It's a tight end.
That was a nice job by the Durfee defense, too. Again, a little pressure on Petrusky out there, and then a good coverage, low throw, 3rd and long. Again, 4 down territory, though, so you're going to get 2 stops here.
Well, good news for the Hilltoppers. It's 2 incomplete passes, so Red Raiders have not gained any yards on this drive, on this sequence of downs. So
here's that trips look again here to the right. Screen.
Oh, an incomplete there. That one should have been reeled in by Frya.
Durfee was lucky there. Barnstable set that screen up nice. There was a lot of green grass ahead of him, green turf ahead of him.
Well, that's kind of, you know, that's why these plays are designed. There's almost some trickery involved. You stack one side with trips, and then you go to the other side. Everybody's thinking, you know, the near side here, and then, like you said, a lot of room to move on the far side.
Absolutely. Here, big play here, fourth and long.
4th and 10. No yards gained on this set of downs for Barnstable. They've had 3 straight incompletions, and they're going to go to the air once again unless Peter Kuski goes. No, he's going down the field to the end zone. Oh, what a catch by number 6, Jadaro France. Went down the field right by the Hilltopper defender, and it's 6-0 Barnstable.
There is a flag, though, Ev. I don't know if that was a late hit. Did he get hit after the whistle? There's some little extracurricular back there. I don't know if he got a hold. The kid did have a lot of time to make that throw, so I don't know if they got him on a hold or not, but
here comes
looks
our
like
official.
It's coming back. Chop block.
That is coming back. That will not stand. Good eyes B. I was watching the ball in the air, didn't see the flag, and that's a personal foul. That'll
That's a
be
huge
15
personal
yards.
foul now. Not only does it take the touchdown off the board, but now Barnstable has to punt, brings them all the way back to midfield.
Wow.
Huge play. Huge break for the Hilltoppers. And that's why he was mad. He got a high load.
And a timeout for the Hilltoppers. So, yeah, that's pretty big. It's going to be a full team timeout here, but 15 yards on that penalty takes a touchdown away. And Mr. Damaris into the booth. Good to see you, sir.
Huge play for Durfee. Take 6 points off the board. Now they get the ball. Looks like they had to burn a timeout. Might have been some personnel issues. Who's on the punt return team? Some confusion there, but they'll get it squared away. Get the ball back. 5 minutes to go. One drive at a time. One play at a time.
No, that's huge. I mean, anytime that points come off the board, because that was a beautiful pass and a beautiful catch.
Well, and it seems like, too, whenever you're losing games, the calls seem to go the other way. And, you know,
Yep.
It's just nice to sometimes get one in your favor, working out in your favor.
You got Tillman back to punt it away, number 1 for the Blue Raiders. I'm sorry, the Red Raiders. Somerset's the Blue Raiders. Too many Raiders, I'll tell you. Wellesley is the Raiders. Somerset's the Raiders. That's a fantastic punt. Holy cow. Trying to cut back, now going to regroup, go the other way, and he cannot escape. Going to be down to inside the 10, maybe about the 11-yard line.
It was Elijah Concepcion. We mentioned those other senior captains. We mentioned Elijah last week as the workhorse, 20-something carries, 200-plus yards, a touchdown. He's another kid, you know, been here all 4 years, probably hasn't missed a practice in 4 years, and when he gets going, you know, he's a downhill runner. He can make some plays.
Yeah, I really was impressed with him last week. I mean, definitely a big part of the game for the Hilltoppers. It was very hard to stop him. Montero going to drop back, and they'll hand it off.
There you go.
And there is Concepcion. And, you know, that was kind of the thing. It was so interesting, but last week the Hilltoppers had trouble actually running outside to the open field. Concepcion did better going right up the chute.
Yeah, I think they saw something on film. They made an adjustment at halftime. I was talking to Coach Powers about it, and there was, you know, they saw something that they liked, and they were able to exploit it. You know, unfortunately, it didn't get them in the win column, but
yeah,
there's an old saying, you know, it's not broke. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all the preparation stuff. So that's big on the coaching staff here, you know, to recognize it and have the players be able to make those changes right away. You know, just a short halftime break and come out and make changes and, you know, go with what's new, you know, if you will. You know, things that you need to make adjustments on. That's big, and that shows maturity, I think, out of the team. Tough run on second down.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, no gain. They're going to put him back to the line of scrimmage. We don't see the
You got to give the kid Montero some credit, too, though. I think, you know, as a starter coming in, as a sophomore, playing behind a senior, you know, Alvin goes down, and he has to step in the Taunton game, and you know, now it's his team, and he has to be the leader.
Yeah, of course. Next man up, as they say. Hilltoppers facing a 3rd and 4 after no gain on second down. Montero going to drop back, looking to the near side, overthrowing him. That was going for Cam Rogers, another senior, and incomplete. So another 3 and out for the Hilltoppers. The offense not coming out as good as they did last week. A little bit of a slow start.
Well, I think everyone agrees that the defense has been the strength so far for Durfee this season. And, you know, the incomplete pass not only hurts because you have to punt, but it also stops the clock. You know, with 3 minutes to go, when your defense is dominating, you want to try to shorten the game, keep the clock running, give the other team as few possessions as possible. You know, unfortunately, when it's an incomplete pass and the clock stops, I mean, you're still playing to win, of course, but when you can get the ground game going and lean on your defense, you know, that's the formula for success. That's why they were in the game last week.
Yeah, and, you know, that last week's game, aside from really the end of the fourth quarter, it was a quick game because both sides were running it very well. And, again, they were running it up the middle, the Hilltoppers especially. They weren't going to the sidelines, so the clock rolled down rather quickly. They're going to have to punch it.
Old school smash mouth football, right?
Yeah,
Downhill
exactly.
running.
Decent snap. The punt's going to roll to the 39. That's tough. When you backed up that deep, that's going to give Barnstable excellent field position on their second drive.
They really came after him, though. They brought the house after him on that one. Jaden did a nice job getting that kick away, getting them back to about midfield, you know, where they pretty much where they ended up last time with before the penalty.
Well, you know, think about it, too. When you're backed up deep and you're basically knocking on the door to the end zone, there's little room for error on the punt because if it gets away or it's a bad snap or you get taken down, it's 2 points for the opponent and the ball. So pressure's on in those situations.
It's a little different. I don't think we've seen this formation yet.
No.
I was a little confused. I didn't see the quarterback for a second.
Yeah, QB was lined up in the middle. It wasn't a second back. It was actually the QB, and it was a handoff for good run. Very close to the line to gain. Might be just a yard short. That's going to be 2nd and 1. That was a good first down run for the Red Raiders. You mentioned the time. Coming up on 2.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. It's gone pretty quickly here, the first 11 minutes. And they'll hand it off again. That's good for a first down as Freya got the handoff. Or Frey, excuse me, Brian Frey. They're using everybody. Frey was listed as a wide receiver, but he's running the ball right now.
I'm just trying to figure out how they're getting the play in. They've got the signals on the sideline. You see the college teams with the signs and stuff, but I can't figure out how they're even calling the plays. But
Frey, look at that run up the middle for about 15. No, you're right, because they're not even going into the huddle.
No huddle, right.
That's and they're not, you know, this isn't, you know, a knock on Durfee or anybody else we've seen, but this isn't necessarily a simplified offense, too. This is a little more complicated, some of the stuff we're seeing here. They look like a well-oiled machine.
Durfee got lucky there. They weren't set, but, yeah, you're right, Ev. I mean, they're going quick, right? They talk about that in college and the pros all the time, running plays quick. I mean, these guys are right to the line. Let's go. Keep it going. Durfee's got to get set.
Looking at the same formation again, it's working for the Red Raiders. Inside the 10, 2nd down. This time they're going to pass it. Peter Kuski, no, going to run it. Oh, wow, he went down on his left shoulder there, kind of a tumbling dive. Peter Kuski down after a short gain of about 3. So 3rd and 4 in the red zone, close to the end zone.
Pretty good play by Lucas there, closing the gap. I think if he got rid of that ball quicker, though, he had a guy open right away.
Mm-hmm. You saw him kind of pump fake like he wanted to go there, and then he held it back. Frey pushing the pile. And then he gets pushed back. No whistles yet. There's the whistles. Wow.
Is he short of the first down? 4th and inches, 4th and 1.
Let's see where the spot is. This is the part of the field where it gets tough to tell perspective-wise. It's going to be 4th and 1. And that's basically from the 4-yard line. Barnstable taking a timeout. So basically, of course, you're going to go for it because you need just a yard, and then you get 4 more chances at the end zone if you don't get it in right now, right?
What do you do here? You hand it off or you throwing it?
I think they hand it off. They haven't passed once on this drive, and they ran down the field here in less than 2 minutes. So I'd say look for Fry. Look for Fry to take it.
I think so, too. I think they go right at him. I think that's probably what Coach Brown's saying in the huddle is they're going to come right at you.
Yeah, and he's been going right up the middle, so.
Mano y mano for half a yard.
Yep. You got to have the linebackers kind of build the wall, if you will, and seal off the middle of the field. This may even be less than a yard, too. This is awfully close to the first down. Clock has stopped at 42 seconds here in the first quarter. Barnstable had a touchdown taken away thanks to a personal foul on their first drive, and that's how it ended. Now they're knocking on the door. And they do have Fry in the background, or Frey. They're going to pitch it out to him. That's good for a first. And should be good for the touchdown. It is. Barnstable finds the end zone this time. There are no flags. And they strike first here at Mac Aldrich Field. 6-0 Barnstable at the end of the first quarter.
Pretty good play call there. I thought they were going to just try to go right up the middle, right at you like they had been all the way down the field. And I think Durfee probably thought the same thing. They were kind of bunched up in the middle, got that end sealed, and found the pylon.
I'll go for the extra point. Barnstable winning on a fourth quarter field goal last week from John Silver. Gonna look to drop the extra point in. Wow, he's got a leg too. What do they feed the kids over on the Cape? My gosh. The Cape teams always bring it, it seems.
And the Fall River teams are always the smallest. Although Durfee's got some big kids out there.
Yeah, I'd say comparable to the last couple years. There's some decent-sized kids for the Hilltoppers, but you're right. It always seems that Durfee's a little more undersized, and particularly against the Cape Cod teams. So 7-0 the score. Barnstable will kick off. 33 seconds left in the first quarter before we switch sides. That was an easy drive for Barnstable, though. It just ran it right down the throats of Durfee.
Well, the Durfee offense has to get something going. I don't think they've gotten a first down yet. They had a great opportunity on that first play of the game, just unable to connect. And then after that, they haven't seemed to have been able to move the ball. So hopefully they can get some momentum here, get a good return, get some good field position, get a first down, keep the ball moving. Stay ahead of the chains.
Yeah, that's a good point because it's like, Hilltoppers had that big play for first down and it wasn't caught. It looked like it was from here, and then he lost it. And it seems like it took the wind out of their sail like immediately. They got the onside kick, did that right. They would have had a first down for about 15-plus yards. Little squib kick, not going to let Cruz or Concepcion run it back, fall on it at the 34.
We'll take that, though.
Yeah, that's decent field position. It's probably the best they've had. Aside from the when they recover the onside kick, that's the first kickoff they've received. So Lewis downed it. He scooped it up and fell on it. So Durfee will start their third drive from their own 34 and hope to move the chains for the first time in the ball game. As you said,
first down's a big play. You got to get a couple yards here on first down, stay ahead of the chains, try to keep the clock going.
And a passing play again on first down. So a different look than especially than what we saw last week. We've barely seen any running plays from the Hilltoppers. That one's only going to net 1 yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 after the completion.
Kind of got lucky there, too. Big 77's coming off that right side.
I know.
Just missed that tip in that one.
The offensive line needs to kind of button up that side because Yalmakis has kind of had his way.
That's the quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter. You got it. And it was a pretty quick first quarter as well from here at Durfee. After a late score in the first quarter, Barnstable with a 7-0 lead over Durfee. Teams will have a quick timeout in the huddle and switch sides. Durfee with the ball. We're looking at a 2nd and 9, or 2nd and 8 rather, when we start this second quarter here. Again, Durfee looking for win number 1. Almost had it last week. Barnstable, they're at 2-2. They grabbed that second one 1 week ago.
I guess the good thing for Fall River and the Durfee fans is New Bedford's also looking for their first win of the season, too. So.
Yeah, that's true. And Thanksgiving football's on the road this year for the Hilltoppers. And, of course, here at Fred TV, we'll be making the trip up to New Bedford as well. for Thanksgiving football in the morning. New Bedford Cable has it live, and we will have it following that, our own broadcast. They get it live when they host, just like we do. So we'll have our broadcast.
Steal your thunder a little bit on Thanksgiving, huh? Every other year you get it?
We got to share it. But, you know.
You had a good one last year to call.
We did, yeah. And, you know, when they're live, obviously our people here in Fall River that can't go up to New Bedford, they don't get to see it, so they get to see it. We air it as soon as New Bedford's live broadcast is done. As soon as the game's done, Mike and Alex get it on the air for us. So Topper's trying to run it here on second down, and I don't know if they even got back to the line. Might have gained 1 yard, but the defense of the Red Raiders really slowing down the run game here.
Not much running room there for Elijah Concepcion. I think he got actually they gave him a halfway decent spot. He picked up a couple yards. Looks like it's about 3rd and 5 or so, maybe 6.
They gave him a couple yards there, so 3rd and 5. Pushing the pile for a little bit of forward progress there.
It's a big confidence play for the Hilltoppers if they can move the sticks here.
Yeah, it would be. This is 3rd and 5. Big play here again. Looking to pass, it seems. 77 on the near side here, already ready to jump. And they bring over Lucas Roque for the block. And it's a good block, but the pass, even though it was complete, going to be well short. Going to be negative yardage for the Hilltoppers.
That's a nice job by the Barnstable defense, though. That was looked like they were trying to set up a screen. They motioned the trips just like Barnstable did earlier in the game. Tried to throw back against it. What are you going to do? If the guy stays home, he makes that play. If he follows that motion across the field and gets sucked in, you get a big gain.
So it's going to be 4th and 8, and Durfee going to have to punt it away again. Been a tough go of it for the offense so far in the game. So Jaden Lewis will kick it away. That's probably the best punt he's had. That's great. It takes a tough bounce.
There you go, get on
Ball
it.
is loose. And it looks like Barnstable's still going to have it, but the Hilltopper's going to make them lose a couple extra yards.
Good hustle there on the kick coverage, number 11. Who's that? Brian Cruz.
Yeah, he got down there. Connor Baldassaro was the one who scooped it and almost lost it for the Red Raiders.
They got lucky there, Barnstable.
Big time. Big time. So it'll be at the Hilltopper 28. Barnstable will take over. 9:01 to play in the first half. It would be good if Durfee can get a stop here and, as you said, get the ball back and maybe try to do something before the half because they're getting the ball to start the second half as well. Try to do that, double hit with the offense. Might be asking a lot. We'll see. Incomplete.
It's good coverage.
Yeah, I think that was Cam Rogers there, number 12.
Yeah, he was right on him. That was
He
good
got
play.
his hand in there maybe even too.
And that's a big play on first down to keep him not gaining any yards, 2nd and long. Keep him behind the chains.
Well, sure, because that would have gone for about 7, so now you're already halfway there, more than halfway there. So instead, as you said, 2nd and 10 and spreading out the field here, setting Locascio in motion, and they gave it to him on the handoff. Puts the shoulder down, goes out of play. There's a flag.
Was it late?
If he was out of bounds, yeah, you could say so.
The timing of the flag makes me think it might have been a late hit. Was he a couple steps out of bounds when he got whacked?
And Barnstable is clapping, so I think it's going to go on the Hilltoppers. Indeed. That's an automatic first down.
And that's probably a frustration penalty, too. You haven't gotten a first down. It seems like Barnstable's been controlling the game a little bit. You tee the guy up, and he's 2 steps out of bounds and give him an extra 15.
Mm-hmm. So right at midfield, Barnstable with a fresh set of downs. Going to the far sideline. It is complete for gain of maybe 2 or 3. I am really impressed with Peter Kuski, the QB, I'll tell you, he can fire the ball, and he's just been firing left and right. He's got a great arm. He's a senior captain. I mean, he's throwing frozen ropes. These aren't even just little loops. I mean, he's letting it fly.
You got to give the offensive line a lot of credit, too. I mean, he's at all day on a couple of these throws. That one right there was a nice completion, but he had a lot of time back there to get rid of that ball.
Baldessaro with the catch for a first down. Barnstable finding their groove.
Still haven't huddled yet.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
Huddle.
That really is remarkable to me. And going to pass again. We got a flag. Firing down the field, almost reeled in, was Joe Tillman, had the handout. And that flag came, did not stop play, so it may have been a neutral zone infraction or an offsides. Probably an offsides here. Or are they picking it up?
No,
false start. Wow, so they didn't whistle it dead. I don't know what happened there.
I think it was the guy in the slot down here that moved a little early.
I didn't hear any whistles, though. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of strange.
They usually blow it dead.
Yeah. So we're looking at 1st and 15. Honestly, incomplete pass. I would have taken 2nd and 10. Make him lose it down. He's firing left and right. That should have been caught, too. Might have been tipped. Just saw for the Hilltoppers, number 59. Giottis, he was over there. 2nd and 15.
This is Jordan's first game back, too. I think he got hurt in the first game of the season. He was out. He missed all of last season with an ACL injury. He came back, and he tweaked his knee again against Somerset in Game 1. Another senior leader, that's played all 4 years.
Dropping back again, Peter Kuski with all day, going to throw it away. You mentioned Giottis, so the news on him was that after the Week 1 injury, he had his meniscus removed now. So that was the latest thing, and now he's back here in Week 5. Coach Powers was speaking very highly of him.
Yeah, he's a great kid, very coachable kid. You can tell. I think it looks like he's the one calling the defense. Coach Brown calls in the signals. It looks like he's the guy that he's signaling into, him and Lucas, kind of the two leaders in the middle of the defense.
3rd and 15. Barnstable with some incompletions, a penalty, and a throwaway. And now Peter Kuski going to try to run it. 2 Hilltoppers chasing him down, and he has nowhere to go. That's a good stop for Durfee.
Great defense. Everybody stayed home. Giottis again in the middle. I think that was him, or 58 over there was in there. Javen.
It's going to be 4th and 13 as Peter Kuski gained 2 there on his mad dash to the sidelines. And you think that it looks like they're going to go for it, too. I mean,
they're kind of in no man's land here. You punt and it goes in the end zone. You're only going to net, 15 yards or so. So,
and honestly,
why not sling it when you got a guy like this who can, he can throw that comeback 10 to 12 yards.
Exactly. And he's going to sling it. Going down the sidelines, looking for Baldessaro.
Great play.
Beautiful coverage, incomplete, and the Hilltoppers will take over on downs from the 38.
Cam Rogers, step for step with him all the way down the sideline, got his hand in there, knocked it away. Great job by the Durfee defense, big hold. Need to move the ball now here with 7 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, they got the stop they needed, so that's big.
Just got to figure it out on offense. Find something that works.
Yeah, and you could argue too that Durfee got a break because Peter Kuski was slinging it left and right, and he had a couple drop passes too. Some of the receivers not reeling it in. So a combination of different factors. Durfee getting the ball back. Officially at the 39. I said the 38, but it's the 39. 1st and 10. We'll see if these guys can move the ball here on their 4th drive.
There you go. It's 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, just little bits at a time. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 15-yard play every time.
No, well, I think that's the key right there is 4 yards, if you get 4 yards, 3 plays in a row, it's a first down.
Exactly.
So there's 4 yards there, 2nd and 6. That was the first time they looked like they were under center like that, too, in the wing T.
Yeah, which also surprised me, the fact that Durfee was coming out basically looking to pass every time. Maybe they learned something from last week's game. I'm not sure. I mean, New Bedford didn't put up any points against the same Raiders team, so under center once again is Montero. 2nd and 6. Handed off.
Go.
There's a good run for.
Big time run.
Yeah, how about that? There's about 12 or 13 yards.
Lucas
Roque.
Roque. He doesn't come off the field for them either. Offense, defense, special teams,
Yeah,
senior captain.
Kid's a beast. I'll tell you, he started the game last week with back-to-back runs, and then Concepcion took it in for the touchdown on the 3rd play of the game. But Lucas didn't have as many carries last week as I thought he would, especially after the way the game started. So it'd be good to see him and Eli kind of get into a rhythm here. 6 minutes to play before the half, and first down for the Hilltoppers for the first time tonight. That time going nowhere. Stopped at the line. Concepcion not able to get through the line. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
This is more Durfee speed, I think. And this is the style I think they should be sticking with. Trying to run the ball, move the chains, keep the clock going. I said it earlier with the defense being your strength. It's the old school ground and pound and control the clock, control the speed of the game. Barnstable wants to play up tempo, no huddle. They're throwing the ball all over the place. Slow the game down. Don't give them so many possessions.
And
But
I think we're gonna have
can't do that.
No, gonna have a false start. The Hilltoppers did get 1 yard on that last play, so it was 2nd and 9. It'll now be 2nd and 14. They take a step back with the flag, the 5-yard penalty. You mentioned about the
Those
passing.
are killer drive. Those are drive killers, though. Ev.
No, I
When,
know.
A 5-yard penalty when you're only getting 3 or 4 yards a pop. You can't shoot yourself right in the foot.
Yeah, and you mentioned about, running versus, setting up for passing. I mean, and that adds a lot of pressure to Montero as well, who wasn't the starting QB at the start of the year. We mentioned next man up, but it puts a lot of pressure on the guy who wasn't the one doing the job. He's going to go deep here. Look out, could be in trouble, and it is tipped away.
Interception.
And it is picked off. Down near the 10. Man, I thought that was tipped away. I didn't think he came down with it. That's a tough luck loss right there for the Hilltoppers. They lose possession. And
Good news is they're backed up.
They're backed up, but the false start really is what forced the passing play, because they had 2nd and 9. You don't know if maybe they would have tried running it again before 3rd down, but now you're backed up so far. You got to try and go deep with the pass.
Yeah, I think it just changes your mindset a little bit.
Sure, low snap. They're going to hand it off. And what a run there on 1st down for Brian Fry.
You got to hold him here with 4 minutes to go, 4.5 before the half. Go into the half, down 7-0. I mean, it could be worse.
Honestly, I keep saying Fry. It's Brian Frey. Excuse me. I'll tell you, you're right. I mean, if they escape with only the 7-0 deficit here, that's a major win, considering really how difficult it's been on the offense in this first half.
Yeah, it seems like Barnstable's dominated the game. I mean, we talked about the Durfee-Dartmouth game last week where Dartmouth only ran 6 plays and they won, so it's doable.
It's doable. You just got to get some points.
I think they've only got 1 first down, right? Just that run there by Lucas.
Exactly. Yep. And we should mention, too, that the Hilltoppers have only scored in 2 games. They've been shut out twice in 4 games. But, I mean, that's kind of something, again, we keep talking, and you mentioned the defense, as that's another first down for Barnstable. Coach Brown told me preseason that, it's a different team. It is going to be more based on defense. Offensively, they got a lot of work to do, and I think they still do. I thought last week was a step in the right direction. But tonight, Barnstable, a little bit of a different animal than an 0-3 Dartmouth team. 0-3 at the time. That's a good tackle and a flag.
What's the flag for?
I'd like to know what that's
Got a
for.
hold,
Yeah.
it looks like. We'll take that one.
Yeah, sure. That's a 10-yard penalty. 3:13 to play in the half. That's one thing, these running plays kind of bleeding the clock a bit. So we'll replay first down, 10 yards, backed up. Bring up 1st and 20.
That was a nice play. It looked like the right end there, and Cam Rogers out here keeping him, forcing him back inside to his help, making the play. I don't know who it was that got held. It must have been inside, but
yeah, didn't with the ball carrier came. It was just a clean
didn't
tackle.
help him. The hold didn't help him.
No. Sometimes it's just inadvertent. You don't even realize it. I mean, we argue. When I'm watching NFL games, I mean, you could argue that there's holding on every play. It's just a matter of how blatant it really is and who sees what, you know.
On this level, too, I think you could make that argument, too.
Yeah. Short gain, we'll say 2nd and 18. Maybe 19. Ball is on the 30. So 2nd and 19. They grabbed a yard. Peter Kuski dropping back, looking to pass. He fires over the middle. Can't wrap up the tackle. Twice escaping for an extra 5 yards.
Maybe even more than that. It was about a 5-yard gain. It turned into a 15 or 16-yard gain. 3rd and 6, 7.
That's tough. Should have been wrapped up behind the 40. Instead, they're across the 40 and needing 7. 3rd and 7. 2 minutes to play in the half, and there's a flag.
Guys are moving again.
Well, play is whistled dead. I would imagine it may be a false start again. Oh, it's on the defense. So then why did play get halted? I've never seen play stopped on an offsides.
Yeah. Well, the last one, they let him throw it, and they called it on the offense. So.
Exactly. It's like, what's going on here? 5-yard penalty is going to make it 3rd and 2.
You said 2, but the PA guys got 3rd and 3.
Well, it was 3rd and 7, so it's just simple arithmetic, B. 3rd and 2, and it's a first down.
That hurts.
Yep. That hurts. Time keeps rolling, though. 104 seconds to play in the half, and timeout will stop the clock right at the 50. So, I mean, the good news is right at midfield, not a lot of time to work with, but we'll see if Barnstable airmails it down the field here for maybe a quick strike. Wouldn't put it past
2
them.
minutes. I mean, they've been going no huddle the whole game, so these guys, this kid can sling it. So it only takes one. We saw him air one out down the field earlier for a touchdown that got called back. They can score from anywhere.
They sure can. I mean, and Durfee really has done a decent job defensively. They've made some plays when it's counted here in this first half. Again, only down 7-0 at the moment. We want you to stick around during halftime because tonight is American Youth Football Night. We have the Fall River Falcons here well represented, and we'll be introducing them at halftime, as well as the Hilltopper Marching Band. They'll have their halftime show as well. So we invite you to stick around here on Channel 9 for the halftime festivities before BJ and I come back for the third quarter. Right now, some unfinished business in the second quarter. Peter Kuski scrambling, rolling out to the far sidelines, and he's going to lose yards on first down.
But he stops the clock. Gets out of bounds, loses a couple, but he stops the clock, and I think that's probably the key for Barnstable right there. They'll take the 2 or 3 yard loss and save another timeout.
Yeah, smart.
Although high school football,
play.
you get a million timeouts. It's like you never run out of timeouts in high school football.
I know. How many times did I ask you?
5.5.
How many times did I ask you up on the roof when you were coaching, and I'm calling the games from up there and say, hey, how many more timeouts you got?
You lose
track after a while.
Crazy.
2nd and 13. 14 really. Going to come to the near sideline. It's going to throw it away. 3rd down and 14 coming up. But again, it stops the clock, to your point, the incompletion. 3rd and 14 from the 46.
Well, we mentioned it earlier. Getting to the half, down 7-0 would be, a win at this point in the game to be able to regroup at halftime, get the ball to start the third quarter. So you just kind of make or break time. Big play, 3rd and 15 or so.
86 seconds to play in the half. 1:26 on the clock. What you don't want are any stupid penalties, as we say. Going well down the field. 2 guys there. Coming down with the catch is Luke Locascio, and the catch was as impressive as the pass. Unbelievable.
Great throw, great catch.
Tell you, Peter Kuski looks like a senior in college throwing the ball, not a senior in high school. This kid's got an arm. That was a tight spiral all the way down the field, too. We're talking from the 46 down basically to the 6.
Decent coverage by Durfee, too. The kid was right there. Just, what are you going to do?
Good tackle there to stop Brian Frey. Lucas playing D, as you said, both sides of the field. Lucas never leaves the field.
And he loves it. He loves to play. You can see it on his face. He loves to be out there and doesn't want to come off the field either.
Second and goal from the 5, but first a timeout that stops the clock with 1:01. So, B, you've been in both sides of these situations here as a QB, as a coach. What's going on in the huddle here with the Hilltoppers?
Just telling you, got to hold. We need a hold. We need 3 stops, right? They got 4 shots at it. They're going to try to. They're not going to kick a field goal. So, play your responsibility. The old Bill Belichick. Do your job. Worry about what you're supposed to worry about. Take care, and then the rest of it will take care of it. The rest of it will take care of itself.
I'd be surprised if Peter Kuski passes. I don't know. I just have a feeling they're going to run it in. Well, now Frey. Oh, yeah, they're going back to him. Far sideline.
Oh, nice move.
And he got in, yeah. That was a well-designed play there and well executed by the Red Raiders. They find the end zone for the second time in this first half. It's now 13-0 Barnstable. That was a play we really haven't seen tonight, actually, from the Red Raiders.
Yeah, well, that's deflating. It was 3rd and 15 at midfield. The guy gets behind the defense. The kid makes a great throw down inside the 5 with under a minute to go in the half. Durfee needs something to light a little fire.
Silva with the extra point kick, and it is through the uprights with authority. 14-0 the score with 54 seconds to play in the half.
You could tell that kind of took the wind out of their sails a little bit. Durfee need to get some momentum, confidence.
Oh, and that's the thing. I mean, and giving up another touchdown, knowing how the offense is struggling tonight. I mean, they all know it on the sidelines. So now 14 points could feel like 28. So Barnstable will be kicking off here from right to left. See if the Hilltoppers run a couple plays before halftime. Durfee will get the ball to start the third quarter. They deferred after winning the toss to start the game. The Red Raiders ready to rock and roll. Durfee now just breaking the huddle. And we'll see Concepcion as well as Caden Richards, number 8, heading back.
Caden's another freshman that's been out there on offense, defense, special teams.
Yeah, so those two will be back deep to receive it, but Barnstable didn't go deep with the kickoff. The last time they scored, they kind of squibbed it right up the middle, and they'll do it again on the ground. Tough hop, loose ball, got to pick it up and protect it now as everybody's coming in and going in the wrong direction. That looked like De Silva.
Jailson.
I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to get around everybody, but that just didn't happen. Quickly run down by the kicking team.
Oh, that happens on special teams sometimes. Guys that don't typically get the ball, right?
Mm-hmm. And especially when you squib it on the ground like that. I mean, the guys you want to return it are back deep, not in the middle of the field trying to catch a bouncing football. Nonetheless, 1st and 10, Durfee from the 28-yard line. Let's see if they can maybe run a couple plays here. Got 44 seconds on the clock. Even if they don't get down the field, at least maybe run some plays and see how we feel. I'll hand it off, and looks like that was Concepcion, I think.
He got 8 or 9 there.
Not bad. 8 yards on the first down play. No timeouts. We'll go no huddle. No timeouts being used, I should say.
You gotta make sure everybody's set.
Yeah, that's a false start. So there goes 5 of the 8 yards you just got. And it'll be second down and
Trying to go
7.
no huddle because you only have 30 seconds. I get it, but as a quarterback, you got to make sure guys are set before you snap the ball. Gotta.
And now the clock will continue to roll here. 15 seconds. Montero out there giving the play. 10 seconds. I don't think we'll see a play before the half is over here. Coming down now 6, 5 seconds as they line up. 2 seconds. And they will not get a play off. So that is it for the first half. A disappointing end to the first half as well because the Hilltoppers were only down by the 1 score. And Barnstable able to punch it in, really using the final seconds of both first quarters to get their points. The Red Raiders with a 14-0 lead here at halftime over the Hilltoppers. So Hilltoppers going to go into the lineup down 2 scores and definitely with some adjustments that need to be made offensively in particular.
Well, I think the last couple drives, they started to move the ball a little bit. They went under center. They went right at Barnstable, didn't try to, get too cute. And they had a couple of decent runs, but then they went backwards on a couple of false start penalties. So if you're going to put together a 10 or a 12-play drive, getting 4, 5, 6 yards a pop, you can't have any penalties. Every play has to be perfect. Barnstable had on their last touchdown drive a couple penalties. They went backwards a couple times, but the kid aired it out 50 yards down the field, and the guy got behind him, and they end up scoring.
Exactly.
So, it's there's a fine line, and the margin for error for Durfee is so small, and they have to play perfect on every single play to move the ball, and the penalties will kill you.
All right, well, we're going to step aside here. Again, we're going to see the Fall River Falcons on the field shortly. We have the Hilltopper Marching Band setting up for their halftime performance, so stick around, and BJ and I will be back for the third quarter after this.
Third place in the nation. Introducing the 2018 Fall River Falcons. Flag football head coach, Michael Kelly. Flag cheerleading head coach, Taylor Sardinha. Eight and under football, head coach Anthony LaRue. Eight and under cheerleading, head coach Taylor Wilson. Nine U football, Travellis Oliver. 10U football head coach Michael Barabee. 10U cheerleading head coach Felicia Moody. U football head coach Mike Cisello. 12U football head coach Jason Springer. 12U cheerleading, head coach Krishan Bates. 13U football, head coach Josh Silva. 14U cheerleading, head coach Charlene Gonzalez. And 18U cheerleading, head coach Anne-Marie Sterling. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fall River Falcons football and cheer.
About ready to get the second half underway here at Durfee High School's Mac Aldridge Field. Hilltoppers hosting the Red Raiders from Barnstable and down 14-0. Good news, they get the ball to start the second half. Evan Massoud and BJ McDonald with you on Fred TV Channel 9 for Week 5 high school football. And first half, Barnstable really controlled the pace of play, B.
Yeah, for sure. I think Durfee, we mentioned it in the first half. I think they had one first down. Kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple times. Looks like they're going to get lucky here. A little momentum to start the third quarter on a late hit out of bounds. It'll bring them out by midfield.
Yeah, Jaden Lewis, I mean, he never left his feet on the return there out of bounds, but just a little extra contact there, and a couple men in pinstripes watching it unfold. So a good call there. The Hilltoppers with a decent return, and then they get the benefit of the personal foul as well. They're going to start right at midfield. That's the best field position they've had.
So big possession to start, big first play. Got to move the ball, start on a positive note, get the momentum going, get the confidence level up. Because even though, it's only 14-0, it's 2 scores. A couple of big plays, and, one big play, you're right back in it.
Exactly. And last week, Hilltoppers found the end zone twice in the loss to Dartmouth. A little spin there by, that's actually Lucas Roque, as he picks up a couple. I still think back of that first play of the game where the Hilltoppers had about a 20-yard pass that should have been reeled in, could have been reeled in, but came loose at the last second on their first play, and it would have really been a spark offensively, and I feel like that just totally took the wind out of the sail of the offense right out of the chute.
But the last couple drives of the second quarter, they did move the ball a little bit. Like you said, they did have a couple penalties. The first play here, they are in front of the sticks. It's 2nd and 7. It's not 2nd and 14. So, just keep the ball moving forward, play 4 downs. That looked like they got lucky there, too.
No, it looked like Concepcion almost had the ball out front. Like here, do you want it? Something didn't look right there, but
it didn't look like there was they were on the same page there, Montero and Concepcion, almost like he didn't expect them to get the ball, or I don't know. But
they
he
still
did
got
get
a yard.
Couple, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, ended up with 2 yards, so 3rd and 6 coming up.
I think it might be 4 downs here, too. Down 14-0. What do you get to lose?
No, you're right. I think you got to try to, if the offense gets, especially if they pick up a couple yards and they get that much closer, I think it's something you got to think about. Although I will say, Jaden Lewis has punted a couple times, has done decently, but even with a short field, he could probably pin Barnstable way back deep. It's just whether or not you want your defense. They're going to pass it, and that's not what the doctor ordered.
That kid's been coming off the edge all day, though.
All
77. He's a big kid, captain for Barnstable. Yakamolis, how do you say it?
Yalmakis. I'm shocked that that's something that wasn't talked about maybe in the locker room. Hey, you got to watch this guy because you're right. He's done this all game long, and now here comes the punting unit.
Yeah, well, now it takes away 4 down territory when you take a 7-yard loss. If it was, I don't know. That's why I think I would have maybe ran it there. 3rd and 5.
I would too. The passing game has not worked for the Hilltoppers tonight, and very little offensively has, but the running game I think has been a little more effective. If we want to nitpick here on what has worked and hasn't.
But the reality is not much has worked.
No, you're right. That's the thing. Not much has worked, but if we're going to try to pick a positive, it's Baldassaro with a decent return, and very good return. He's still in bounds. Still on his feet before coming down at the Hilltoppers line of scrimmage. So they get she's just gone for it on 4th down. Jeez. That's a tough one right there. It wasn't a bad punt either. Down to about the 25-20.
No, he's kicked the ball pretty well.
Lewis, not the tallest kid on the team, but his punts have gotten better throughout the night. His first punt wasn't so good. The last couple he's gotten for about 40 yards. That's not bad. Barnstable with fantastic field position now, starting just about at the 45 of Durfee, and they'll run it. Frey gets about 3 or 4.
the Hilltoppers, you just don't want to go in the tank here. You got to finish the game. You got to keep playing. You know, things haven't gone your way, but stick with it, one play at a time, and, you know, finish the game.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Don't let the wheels come off.
Exactly right. I mean, the last thing you want is for this to become like a 35-0 or a 42-0, which, I mean, we've seen Barnstable hand us those ugly losses before. That is a great pass and a great
fumbled.
catch.
No, he wasn't down. No. I disagree. I think we got a pretty good look at it. What do you think, Ev? I didn't think he was down.
It was very close. I mean, the sidelines here. I don't see Coach Brown out there really arguing adamantly. So, call's going to stand. I mean, we don't have replay here in high school.
We hit our quota for the calls to go in our way in the first half, anyway. So
they're going to hand it off after a great pass and run, catch and run, you could say. Peter Kuski to Matthew Turner, who came away with that one. Turner is a tight end for the Red Raiders. You're right. I mean, it almost like that ball came loose almost the same time the knee was going down. It was almost simultaneous there. So that's a tough break for the Hilltoppers. 2nd and 7, long 7. Peter Kuski looking to pass, going to throw on the run. Oh, he had his guy, but he was turned the wrong way. Colby Burke had stopped a little bit of a comebacker. If he kept going, he would have had that in the corner of the end zone, and there was nary a Hilltopper in sight.
Pretty good pass rush, though, up the middle. The defensive tackle looked like 66. I don't have him on the roster. He's missing that one, so I don't know if he changed jerseys or something.
MIA 66 for Durfee, you're saying?
Pretty good pressure there up front. Yeah, kind of forced the throw, made it a little high.
Yeah, we got a couple unnumbered players on our roster as well.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was just all too easy for the Red Raiders, who strike again right after the Hilltoppers started with possession here in the third quarter. Barnstable makes quick work of a short field, and they're up by 3 scores.
Good throw, a lot of time, nice route. What are you going to do? Kid's wide open down the middle of the field. I mean, they've been throwing the ball all over the place.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like it's hard enough to, when you play defense at the high school level, it's hard enough. Football's a complex game. When you have a team like Barnstable, whose offense here is like outstanding in terms of running and passing the ball, I mean.
Well, and they're not even huddling, so you don't have a chance to
regroup
kidding. And kind of gather yourself in between plays. I mean, you got to get out there and get set and run one play, pass one, the next. They're under center. They're in shotgun. It's different formations.
Exactly. It's very for high school, this is probably as complex an offense we're going to see all season long.
Yeah, I would say that, and they've probably thrown the ball more than anybody that the Hilltoppers will see all year. I think,
it's unbelievable.
Dartmouth ran the ball. I know Somerset historically has just always run the football.
If you wonder why we're re-kicking, not that distance is an issue. Holy cow. There was a false start on the extra point attempt, and now they backed up 5 yards and still a little issue. I mean, even that, the kicking. When have you seen a high school kicker with a kick like that?
Pretty good kick.
Silva's legit here, let me tell you. 21-0 the score here with 6:33 to play in the third quarter.
Well, the body language for the Hilltoppers is kind of going down the tubes a little bit, too.
Yeah, this one's getting away from Durfee tonight. Haven't seen really a blowout here at home in some time. But, talking about Barnstable, I mean, we opened against them about 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 years in a row. This is going back to like 2012. I think might have been your first season. Oh, no, you came in with Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah, so this was before Taylor was the head coach. And we're going back a few years. My first couple years covering Hilltoppers in Fall River sports. And I can recall that, Barnstable, I think they beat us here 55-6 on opening day. I mean, it was just really like as ugly as it gets. It was bad.
And this one, I mean, Durfee offensively hasn't moved the ball, but defensively they haven't been bad. It's been a couple of big plays that, right before the half was really a backbreaker, 3rd and 15, to give up that one. And instead of going into the half down 7-0, you go down 14-0. Then you punt. The guy gets a big punt return. They set up good field position, and they punch it in. And now all of a sudden, before you can blink, it's 21-0. I mean, I think there was 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, and it was 7-0. It was a 7-0 game.
No, you're right, and that's the thing. And the defense is going to get tired. There's only so much they can do. The offense just can't score points. They're having a lot of trouble scoring points, and it kind of reminds me of. And again, the losses haven't been as bad, but it makes me think of that 27-28 game losing streak from 6 years ago when they were getting blown out. These haven't necessarily been blowouts, but the fact is the Hilltoppers couldn't score then. They were having trouble. When Nick Salmon was here 2 years ago when we beat New Bedford at New Bedford, the end of that season, Durfee finished, I think it was 4-1 those last 5 games. And
well, I'm biased because the coaches are all my friends, but I think that's a credit to the coaching staff.
Sure.
Keeping the kids to show up every week. And, it's a new week with this new scheduling format. It worked in their favor that year where they got to play teams that were kind of on their level. They were able to win, 3 or 4 games in a row going into New Bedford. And I think you could probably see the same thing happen this year. You got one more tough game next week against Brockton. That's going to be an uphill battle. But after that, you get reseeded, and, you're not in the playoffs, but you're playing against teams that are on your level. So for these guys that have been playing for 4 years, it's your last chance to play and win some games. And, Durfee has to play a Division I schedule.
Yeah.
And there's not – they're the team in the city. They're the team in the city that plays the Division I schedule. They don't play, and it is what it is, and that's the way it's historically been, and it's not going to change. So you play who's on the schedule, and that's it. Roll it out there and give it your best shot.
No, you're right, and it's fun. I was talking about this last week with Dartmouth because Dartmouth actually has the advantage over teams like Durfee because they're playing up almost all season. They're playing Barnstable. Barnstable's in the OC. They pass down the field, and it's going to be overthrown. And Lucas Roque letting out a little more frustration on third down. That was a good pass from Montero. Just overshot him a little bit.
He had him. He was open. Just missed him.
That would have been a touchdown.
1 or 2 steps there.
But no, thinking about Dartmouth, they're a lower division than Durfee, and they play a lot of the same opponents. They play in the OC, which is Dartmouth, BR, and Barnstable. So BR and Barnstable are, obviously, you see how Barnstable is. They're a tough team. Dartmouth plays us. They play Brockton. They play New Bedford. We all play the same teams, but Dartmouth being lower, when they got to the playoffs a couple years ago, they won back-to-back Super Bowls because they're playing teams that are really below their level, even though they're on the same playing field. So
they've had some very, very talented players come through.
Oh yeah,
their program. Justin Cruz, who was here coaching with Taylor the last couple of years. He was a college football player. When we were in school, they had Jordan Todman was an NFL player. They belonged in Division I at that time. They had guys playing Division I football at Boston College and UNH, and They could get it done.
Yeah.
I think the enrollment numbers that the MIA uses are a little skewed.
No, I totally agree. The fact that, first of all, it changes like every year, it seems, what division you're in. But to just go off the size of the school, I don't think that's how you can
I could go
determine.
On a rant over that.
I believe me, it's probably nothing that I haven't said before either, and it's just to me it just doesn't make much sense, and that's where the state's athletic association, they really need to take a step back and say, look, is this really working? Because I don't see it. I just don't see it. When you have the Hilltoppers struggling to beat, we struggled to beat Conley one year, and I'm not dissing Conley, but Conley's Division VI. That
there's
shouldn't
only
happen.
so many kids in the city, too. They had a nice turnout tonight with the Pop Warner kids being out here, and that's great. And you hope that those kids will
first down and a lot more for Frey. And Barnstable back into the red zone of the Hilltoppers once again.
But, it's nice that the Pop Warner kids come out. It's nice that they try to, bring that in. But it's tough when you've got maybe say 25 kids on the 8th grade team, and I'm making that number up, but if you lose 4 or 5 of them to Diamond and 4 or 5 kids go to the charter schools and a couple kids live in Somerset that play in the Pop Warner program, now all of a sudden, you go from an 8th grade team that's been playing football together with 25 kids, and you end up with 4 or 5 of them at Durfee, 4 or 5 of them at Diamond.
Splitting the difference.
It's tough. It's tough to be able to, whereas Barnstable, they're the only team down there.
Exactly.
That you want to go play high school football, you're going to Barnstable High.
No, I hear you, and you're right. That's a big part of it. I mean, there's a lot of schools right in our general area, and and that doesn't even account for some of the private schools.
Well, in high
kids
school
that
football,
kids
too,
that go to Stang or go to Feehan from down here as well.
In high school football and football as a whole is, for lack of a better word, under attack. I mean, it's in the news. Yeah. It's the concussion things. It's the stuff that's going on. It's all of these new discoveries that in brain injuries and things. And, you can't fault parents for not wanting their kids to play. You can't fault kids for not playing. I get it, but it's weird and it's evolving, and it's unfortunately for Durfee. I mean, they've got. I would be shocked to know. I mean, this has to be the most freshmen that they've ever played at one time.
Probably. And there is a flag back here on 3rd and 7, which was caught for a touchdown. It was Colby Burke who came down with it, but there's a flag, and it is on the offense.
Well, he's had all day to throw back there every time he drops back, so it's nice that they throw the flag every once in a while, because there's no way that they can protect that well for that long on every play.
Seriously. Yep, exactly. So that's another touch. Think about it. Red Raiders lost a touchdown earlier in the game. It would have been their first score. So this very easily could be 28-0 already, but that one came off the boards because of a flag. And now this most recent one came off the boards because of a flag.
Nice play.
Great play there in the end zone, and incomplete.
That's Jaden Lewis.
So it's going to bring up a 4th down.
There's another freshman out there, so that's probably got half a dozen freshmen on both sides of the ball. It's tough to compete against 14-year-old kids going up against 18, 19-year-old kids.
Oh no, exactly, without a doubt. So that's a big stop there. I mean, 4th and 11, Barnstable's up by 3 scores. Naturally, they're going to go for it. I mean, why not?
What do you have to lose?
Yeah, nothing to lose at all. So probably look for Peter Kuski to sling it again, because he's been firing left and right. That's going to be long. That's going to be long. He would have been out of bounds if he caught that anyway. So the Hilltoppers, thanks to the penalty as well, a little help from the flag. Hilltoppers defense gets Barnstable off the field without any further damage. Under 2 minutes to play in the 3rd.
That was Cam Rogers on the coverage. He's done a nice job. He's been right there, knocked down another pass there on the last drive. Stride for stride with that guy.
Well, the Hilltoppers offense back on the field, hoping they can put something together. 3rd quarter's gone pretty quick here. Again, already 9 minutes gone. And it looks like Durfee set up to pass yet again. Over the middle and incomplete. Lewis did not come down with that one. So 2nd down and 10 after the incomplete pass. Lewis, again, the intended receiver. And Durfee looking to set up. Maybe at this point, too, the thought is let's just pass the ball and, try to see what Montero's got as well, because this is probably the most we've seen Durfee pass all year, without a doubt. I mean, at least this is the 3rd game I've seen. I know they had 3 games on the road. We saw Somerset, and then Wellesley and Taunton. We were not on the road for those.
I saw the Taunton game. But
how was the passing?
Montero didn't play. I think he played the second half.
Yeah.
Alvin started the game.
But they've gone to the air. And probably close to 50% with the running game. I mean, it's been pretty split here. And now lined up again almost the same way. So one would expect Montero to drop back and pass. He's got help on both sides, spreading it out.
We're 77.
Yeah, really. I think he may be here on the near side, on the corner. No, he's coming on the back side of it, and it's incomplete as well. Overthrew him. Montero's passes, they've been a little long. He's overshooting the guys who are throwing too high. Incomplete. No
That's a tough
yards.
throw. He's rolling out to his left. He's right-handed. That's a tough throw to make.
No yards gained on that drive for the Hilltoppers. They stay at the line of scrimmage, and they'll have to punt it away with 1:11 to play in the third.
This kid 15 for Barnstable's killed him. A couple big receptions, the big punt return on the last.
Yeah, that's
play.
Baldassaro, and you're right. He's tough to take down. That's the whole thing. Lewis, another decent punt, but Baldassaro will be able to take it. No, going to be downed right there, just across the 50. So
we'll take that.
Sure will, because if he picked it up, probably would have taken at least 10 yards the other direction. And the Hilltoppers defensive unit will hit the field once again. So another tough sequence for the Hilltoppers offense. That's, I think, their fourth or fifth 3-and-out. Long night at the office for the Toppers. Ball spotted right at the 50, and that's where Barnstable will take over. They've had great field position for most of their drives. And they hand it off to France, who's in motion on the snap. There's a flag, 2 flags, as we start coloring the field with the yellow. Coming in from both sides. And it is. Good call, B. Holding on the offense, a 10-yard penalty, and we'll replay the down. So 1st and 20.
Barnstable's killed themselves with penalties today. That's probably, probably at least the fourth holding call against them.
Yeah, and they had personal fouls. I mean, they've probably racked up close to 100 yards in penalties, or at least, we'll say at least 50 yards in penalties. But
they'll get us back when we have to go down the Cape.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think, did we? Yeah, that's going to be an offsides. Play continues. No whistles. Deep down the field and incomplete pass, but we'll have an offside. So, and by the way, I said 1st and 20, but the holding was a spot foul, so it was actually 1st and 16. Now we'll move another 5 yards in the other direction because of the offsides, and it'll be 1st and 11. Should be 1st and 11, right? We'll replay the down.
Hasn't really been any consistency in when they blow the play dead and when they let them go.
Yeah,
right?
it's weird, really weird.
I don't know how when they determine it's dead and when they let it go.
Well, it was always my understanding, if it's a false start, if it's on the offense, play is dead. If it's on the defense, they let play continue.
That's a good play.
That's a great play. Taken down at the knees was Locascio.
Cam Rogers again.
Yeah, he's had a decent game. Had some good tackles. 3-yard carry is going to bring up 2nd and 8, and that'll come on the other side of the timeout here as the third quarter comes to an end. Good news for both sides, and the guys working the chains is we'll switch sides right at midfield. Not far to go.
Too far.
Not too far to go. I always think that's going to be a killer for, especially big stadiums, NFL stadiums where they're seating all the way around. If you're at one end zone and here comes your team, they're marching down. They're at the 5, ready to score, and the quarter ends. Now they're going to score all the way the opposite end of you. Kind of takes the wind out of your sail as a fan, too. But for here, just going to go to the other side of the 50, basically. So, again, 2nd and 8 coming up.
Could use some hash marks on this field. What yard line are they on?
Yeah, we were just talking about it's the 40.
Can you tell?
48. No, I know. We were talking about that last week, and I think that may be coming in the near future. Is some adjustments here maybe, and even and then the new paint. That's what I'm hearing. So 2nd down and 8. Because first down was replayed twice because of the hold and because of the offsides. So 2nd down and 8 here from the 48 of the Hilltoppers. Barnstable with it as the 4th quarter begins. Final 11 minutes to play here at Mac Aldridge Field. Red Raiders up 21-0.
Still slinging it.
Still slinging it. They hand it off this time. Well, no, I think he kept it. It's like Peter Kutsky kept it, and I don't know if he even got back to the line of scrimmage. No, he lost a yard thanks to Lucas Roque on the tackle. It'll bring up 3rd and 9. Backed up to the 48. I don't know. There's all kinds of crazy going on out there tonight. They moved the down marker back a yard, but the ball didn't move, so we'll say 3rd and 8 from the same spot, from the 48. You got to credit the fans. You mentioned decent fan base here, too, tonight. Then the kids always come out to support the 12th man. They always come out to support. And Barnstable looking like the pros here even.
Oh.
That's the first time they really got in Peter Kutsky's face all game long. And that's after Barnstable really used almost all of the play clock, too. They were holding the ball, waiting before they snapped it. It'll bring up 4th down.
I think they were trying to run a screen again. They tried that earlier.
Yeah.
Didn't work either time.
So the Red Raiders punting unit, it appears.
Is that first punt?
I think it might be. I feel like I recall them punting once way. Yeah, they punted way back in the 1st as well. I think this is number 2 for them.
They got to catch it in the air.
It'd be nice if it went to the end zone for the Hilltoppers' sake, but instead, gonna stop around the 2 or 3 yard line, maybe the 2. Man, oh man, Durfee can't catch a break. But no, I was about to say though, the kids. I mean, it's kind of cool night out here tonight. It's the coldest night we've had. It was just around 53 degrees, 50 degrees at the start of the game, and no one's really left. I mean, that's one thing. These kids stay to support their classmates out on the field, regardless of how bad the score could get. That's always a nice thing. And I know it was like that when we were in school.
Too. I mean, you started out 3 games on the road to start the season, and you start out 0-3 before you get to play in front of your friends and family at home. You're already in the hole.
Yeah, I'd love to see that change a bit and have us kind of be road and home every other week, kind of alternate. But sometimes the schedules just, they just turn out that way. Well, I can tell you for sure that, it seems like the tradition now is that we're opening against Somerset. At least we've done that the last 3 years, and we've alternated. So we went on the road this year. We should be hosting to start next year if we follow that pattern. I think that's a fun game. Honestly, I mean, again, we talked about the divisions and the opponents and the level of play, but you got Diamond a mile and a half the other direction.
There you go.
And they play. There you go. There's a good run for Roque. But you got the Bengals so close by, and they play 2 non-league games to start the season. Why aren't we playing Diamond? I mean, talk about it. Fall River matchup. You're going to have fans from both sides here in the city, and 2 Fall River teams playing each other. I mean, we play each other for baseball. We play each other for soccer.
Hockey, too, I think, right?
Hockey, of course. I mean, Driscoll's home to like 800 teams. So, softball, too. I think softball still. I'm trying to think now, actually, if we played them last year for softball. I'm pretty sure we did. So, I mean, it's like, why not football? It seems like, to me, a no-brainer. I mean, start the season with them. You know what I mean? Kind of like we did with Conley a couple of years ago. Short gain there on first down, about 3 yards. Good job, though. The Hilltoppers kind of backed themselves, dug themselves out of the hole. They were way back in their own territory, and they've come up the field about 32 yards from where they started. They're basically right at the end zone.
Well, you like to see them finish the game. You know, that's it. But keep playing hard right till the end of the game. Don't quit.
If they
and
can
they like
score.
to see them still battle it out here for the last, 8 minutes, even though they've been overmatched most of the night.
Yeah, I mean, if they can put some points on the board here, even though they're not going to come out on top in this one, if they can put some points on the board, that would feel good.
Build a little confidence.
Exactly, yeah, because, I mean, Brockton's not going to be easy next week either. Of course, that's a game that we'll have for you as well on Fred TV. We have a real busy week next week on Fred TV. We talk about the Durfee Diamond matchup. Well, weather permitting, it was already rescheduled once. The Hilltoppers will head to Diamond for boys soccer. The Hilltoppers soccer team is undefeated this season so far. They have been outstanding. And we're going to get our first look at them against Diamond at the Harrington Field. Again, weather permitting. That's Tuesday at 6. Then Durfee comes home for boys soccer against New Bedford. That would be here on Thursday. We'll have that one regardless of the weather because we'll be inside if it's raining. And then Friday, again, we're back here for more football. Big 3 football, the last regular season game before tournament play in Week 6 because Week 7, it's the last game for Durfee. Week 7, Durfee has a bye. And then we'll find out where Durfee will be playing.
It's a guaranteed bye? They don't.
No, it's not a guaranteed bye. This year we have a bye.
But it's built into the schedule, so that's how. So
yes.
They don't play Week 7, and then it's 8, 9, and 10. They'll get 3
No,
games.
we played the 7. It's just this year we just don't have a matchup for 7.
Okay.
So kind of the same thing happened at Diamond because Diamond had Conley on their schedule, but because they're in the same league, they're in the Mayflower.
Got it.
And Conley canceled the season. It doesn't because they did it before the season. It's not a forfeit where Diamond would just get a W for Week 7 or whatever the week was. First down for the Hilltoppers. They convert on 3rd down. That's a nice job right there for Durfee.
Something to build on.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as I was saying, so like Diamond ended up only playing 6 games too, just because of that. So it's kind of the same situation.
So they'll end up with 10, right? They'll reshuffle it. They get 3.
They're going to get 3. Yeah, they'll end up with 10 if you include the 3 and then Thanksgiving instead of 11.
Which is okay. You play Brockton next week.
Yeah.
You lick your wounds after that one. And
It'll give Durfee an extra week before the non-playoff rounds. And, again, those kind of come out on a week-to-week basis. And so we'll announce the next time we're here on a future broadcast of a different sport. Or check out our Facebook page, too. Facebook.com/FredTVSports. Once the playoff tournaments and any other tournament action comes around, we always have that stuff up there in addition to all the other games we do. So, second down, they'll run it and pick up about 4 or 5. So we'll see, though, what happens. Hilltoppers should get at least 1 more home game. They may actually get 2 just because they're playing away on Thanksgiving. We've kind of seen that happen over the last few years as well. When we've been on the road for Thanksgiving, we tend to get 2 home games out of those last 3 weeks. So that helps because we're going to get 1 just because of the homecoming game and whatnot. But probably I think there's a good
it'll be
chance.
nice to get 2, so then it's 5 and 5, right? 5 home, 5 away.
Exactly. That's kind of because think about it too. That if we played Week 7 and we were on the road, and we don't get 2 in the playoff rounds, the non-playoff rounds, we'd only have 4 home games out of 11. So you're right. There's a balance there that the MIAA. That's one thing they're usually very good about. At least, like I said, in previous years. So we'll see what happens. Truth be told, I'm really hoping that Diamond grabbed another win last week. The Bengals did. I'm hoping that they get a couple games as well, a couple more home games as well, because a couple of them overlapped with these. And
will they be in the playoffs in their division?
They may. They did take a win in league play. Let's see if we can pull up.
They lost to Case, I believe, right?
Yeah, but Case was we did that game, but Case was not a Mayflower League game. It wasn't a conference game, so it doesn't matter. That one doesn't really matter for them. It doesn't hurt them so much. But let's take a look at their record. See where they are at. I think they were 2-2. This is not accurate either. They beat BP last week. That I know. I think they lost to South Shore. I'll tell you what. We'll go even better because I have the scores on our on our Facebook page on the cover photo. There we go. Yeah, Diamond beat South Shore last week 20-0. And then this week they got BP. That's right, yeah, because they had a bye. Conley was going to be week 3 for them. They had a bye.
Okay.
So they are 1-2. They grabbed their first win against South Shore last week. So they're 1-2. They got BP this week.
Oh, no.
But the win against South Shore, that was also a non-league game. So they only have they have BP, Southeastern next week, and then Tri-County. Those are their 3 Mayflower games. So this week's game is a big one. They're on the road. And, it's kind of hit or miss. They've had games where they've gotten blown out by the Craftsmen, and then there have been games where they've returned the favor. So that matchup really has kind of gone year to year. I'm really surprised to see, actually, unless it was kind of a shuffling or a reshuffling. I'm actually kind of surprised. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's Southeastern's their home game next week. I did mention that. The Hawks are always tough. Always tough. Diamond getting to play at home against them.
Diamond always comes to play. Coach Winoski always gets his guys ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Case game, they lost that one 7-0. That was another instance where the offense just couldn't get out of their own way.
Well, that was opening day, right?
It was their home opener. It wasn't their home opener. They had played, that was their second game. They played West Bridgewater. They hosted West Bridgewater. They lost 27.
So it was Case's second game. So Coach Winoski had a film on him. He was in the lab all week, drawing up the defense, and they only gave up 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and to only give up 1 touchdown against Case,
they've got a lot of athletes.
That's not bad. I mean, again, it's a shame that the offense that night for Diamond, they really just couldn't get out of their way.
Seems to be a theme.
Yeah, I mean, until last week, I hadn't seen a football team score a point here in Fall River. Just a rough start to the season for at least on our Fred TV coverage. We're not at every single game because there are road games. Now the first down. We're under 3 minutes to play here at Mac Aldridge Field.
Barnstable's not taking their foot off the gas. No huddle. Keep going right to the line. 28-0.
And I wouldn't expect them to either, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I'm very impressed. I don't even understand how.
Good play.
New Bedford can be a real kind of conundrum. The Whalers team. I don't understand how Barnstable only put up 3 points, and that came in the fourth quarter against the Whalers last week. Because, I mean, I know New Bedford, I think, has got an upper hand against us, but I don't think that I wouldn't say that they're just worlds better than the Hilltoppers. So I'm kind of surprised by that, to be perfectly honest with you. Taken out at the knees, and he may be short of the first down. It's going to be close. Yeah, taken down at the 35. And so we'll look at a 3rd and 1, and we have 3rd and 2 maybe. 3rd and 2 with 2 minutes to play. So let's just take a look at the road ahead here as we get ready for the 3rd and 2 here for Barnstable. They get to go home against BR next week. OC action, Old Colony play, a league game, and that's a first down and more for the QB, Peter Kuski. And for Durfee, of course, they're home next week for week 6. And they will have Brockton for
doesn't
big 3
get any
play.
easier for Durfee next week.
No, it doesn't. And it's big 3.
It'll get a lot tougher for Barnstable with BR next week.
Yeah, that'll be a great game, I think. But for Durfee and Brockton, I mean, Brockton plays, Brockton has advantages because of where they are location-wise, that they get to play, some of these.
Well, they get 100 kids that come out every year to play. I mean, that
that
helps
too. That too, but, their location, they're closer to the Boston area. They play Xaverian. They play, BC High. They play stacked teams, and not just in football, but they play some of these better teams that are, I think they usually play Mansfield too, so, the Hockomock.
Yeah, Catholic Memorial.
Yeah, I mean, these are just teams that are like way above the scope of any of the teams down this way. And I think that's what makes Brockton, doubly deadly. just tough all around.
Always are.
Yeah. Always are. So that's it. They take the knee, and that's going to let the clock roll out. Hilltoppers are going to drop to 0-5, and they're going to be shut out for the third time in 5 games. This is a 21-0 final score here. And, I think this was one that, last week, again, kind of slipped through the fingers. This week, I think going into it, at least from my standpoint, if you look at the numbers, I think Barnstable had the upper hand, and that's what I was kind of feeling pre-game. But, of course, you got to play the game and see how it goes. And things kind of went as I kind of felt that they would. I thought Durfee would find the end zone. I didn't think they'd get shut out, but I had a feeling Barnstable would probably come in here and move the ball very well, and they did. And that's really, that was really the story tonight.
They did. They moved the ball. They made plays when they had to. They had a couple big plays on 3rd and long. Durfee had them 3rd and 15 there. I still think that was a big play before the end of the half. I mean, you go down 14-0, but the Hilltoppers didn't quit. They played till the end. They moved the ball a little bit there in the second half. Again, we mentioned it. Brockton next week. That's going to be tough. But you just hope these kids stay together, keep showing up to practice every day, keep working because, every week is a new game. You can't let it carry over. We mentioned the young kids that are playing. There's a lot of freshmen out there that are playing, significant roles for Durfee on both sides of the ball. They've had injuries. So, you can come up with every excuse in the book, and you can, nitpick it 6 ways to Sunday. But at the end of the day, you have to come out. You have to come to practice every day, and you just hope that the losing doesn't, draw kids away, push kids away, and you hope that they can build on it and stick it out, because I think after the Brockton game, the schedule will get easier. I think there's some games that they can win and build on, because, like I said, there's no substitute for the experience that some of these young guys are getting. Montero as a sophomore, quarterback, a handful of freshmen out there. So hopefully they stick with it, finish the season strong.
Well, I'll say last week, they went down the field and they scored first, and I think that changed the whole game plan as well. So I'd say if you got to look to next week, and it's a tall task because Brockton's tough, but if you can score first in that game, things are going to change the way you play that game as well. You always want to play with a lead.
And it changes everything, especially, we talked about it earlier, that the defense kind of being the key for them. And when you give the defense a lead, guys can fly around a little bit, make some plays, and you're playing with a little bit more confidence than you are when you're always playing from behind.
Sure. All right, well, that's going to about wrap things up here for Week 5 of the high school football season from Mac Aldrich Field. Again, we'll have a slew of games next week on Fred TV as well. So stay tuned for those, some boys soccer again, and more football from the stadium. For now, saying so long from Mac Aldrich Field, Evan Massoud and BJ McDonald. Thanks for tuning in on Fred TV. Have a great weekend.